Welcome to the Thunderfunking DotaCast. I'm Cranberry Thunderfunk, and this is game 2 of a not best of 2 in the international group stages between Navi and Fnatic. Fnatic just took game 1. They did so well. They did so good. Their boot camp paid off. As someone on Twitter said, Fnatic is really scary at LAN, in no small part because they have they've known each other forever. They've been playing together for like two or 3 years, which that's for any eSports team, that's like a lifetime.
5 seconds.
And their work at boot camp is, I mean, that's like clearly a result of like great communication and lots of hard work. So I'm really happy to see Fnatic take a game off of Navi. I would be surprised if, I was surprised that, you know, Navi's not 2-0ing this, but it's pretty cool to see, and I swear to God, if Puppey picks Magnus for Dendi again, he deserves poor things for his future. I talked about it a lot in the previous game, so I won't rag on it too much right now, but he got forced into the pick because of the weakness of the rest of his draft. So, hopefully he can have a little more foresight this time. But looking towards the bans this time, Fnatic probably banned the Bane because they want to pick up Lifestealer. It's kind of a toss-up for Navi whether they want to go for that. hvost is really good at Lifestealer, but they will instead go for the Batrider because that's still in the pool. I forgot about that. Navi also banned out the Naga Siren, which Fnatic have been running a lot of. Not necessarily to great success in the professional games that I've seen, but it's really hard to base to project performance based on recent tournament games, because even, you know, Fnatic might have not been doing too fantastic with their Naga picks. It is still really strong, and it's gained a lot of popularity in the last month, almost purely as a support pick, at least in the West. Eastern teams will still run Naga as a carry or as even a mid. That's happened a couple times. Rattlesnake did that, which is actually pretty effective. Naga mid is actually almost identical in how it functions to a Timbersaw, except that Naga actually has lockdown.
10 seconds.
So, interesting parallel there that I hadn't thought of before. But
5 seconds
as far as Fnatic is concerned, the Naga ban here is a support ban.
Reserve time.
Because they don't want to. Navi does not want to deal with absurd team fight and amazing initiation. The ability to just restart a fight whenever the fuck you want, and say, nope, peace, we'll all TP out, or we'll walk away, or we'll just do whatever we want. Makes me wonder why there hasn't been more Disruptor in general. I would not be surprised to see Disruptor in this tournament. Disruptor in TI2 kind of made a similar appearance, and he was actually a lot weaker at TI2 because you could force staff through Kinetic Field back then. And Thunderstrike was weaker. I think there were a couple other like minor buffs to Disruptor, but with big teamfight heroes like Naga Siren, Disruptor is a really, really strong pick that I hope we see more of in TI3. Fnatic go for the Lifestealer Weaver. Fnatic loves their Tricore. That's pretty much what they always do. What kind of Tricore is not always the same. But with Lifestealer Weaver, that's two classic components. They've run a lot of Era on Lifestealer and Trixi on Weaver very frequently. It's a pain in the ass to kill.
10 seconds remaining.
Does require a lot of farm, no doubt about that. But
5 seconds remaining.
The one concern I have for Weaver in this game is the fact that there's a Batrider. Got to get the Lincoln Sphere up before 25 minutes. That's basically not going to happen. But by the time the mid game is in full swing, because if you don't have a Lincoln Sphere, the Batrider is just going to lasso you every single time, and then before the lasso is over, you're going to get chain stunned, and no time lapse is going to save you from that much damage. So it's really important, for assuming it's Trixi, and I'm almost positive it will be, unless it's a Weaver mid, then it'll be Hanni. But Trixi really needs to get his farm up in this game, which, depending on how greedy Fnatic goes, that can be a challenge.
Reserve time.
Navi get their Rubik, and kuroky is basically the best
Navi's
Rubik player in the
turn to
world.
ban.
He plays Rubik more than anyone else, and it's not by choice. He gets that's what he gets drafted, so that's what he gets to play. But he plays an absurd Rubik, and no matter what there is to steal, he's stealing it and making really good use of it. So Navi are pretty happy to have that
5
pick
seconds remaining.
on their side for this game. I like the Bounty Hunter ban from Fnatic. Bounty Hunter's been making a little bit of a resurgence, and Bounty Hunter's also quite good versus Weaver. Not just for the track to help with Shikuchi, but because Weaver is so likely to build a Lincoln Sphere. Lots of ways to proc the Lincoln Sphere.
Fnatic's turn to ban.
Now Fnatic, when they run the Weaver, they often don't build Lincoln Sphere. I have a personal vendetta against Lincoln Sphere on a number of heroes, and Weaver's one of them. And I think players way too often build Lincoln Sphere as their first item because it's just kind of an obvious go-to. But when you're up against a Batrider, you don't have a choice. You have to get it. If you don't, you're putting yourself at big risk.
Reserve time.
So I like the Bounty Hunter ban from Fnatic. OD and DK, getting rid of those solo mids from Navi. DK's been getting banned more and more. It was considered for a while that you would be wasting a ban if you put it on DK because of how average he is, and he is kind of average. But at this point, particularly with the rise of the Shadowblade build, DK is just super dominant at all stages of the game. I mean, having an 8-second stun available, long range, instant cast, that's absurd. That's better than having a Beastmaster. So getting rid of him, it's not so much for, I mean, you can beat a Dragon Knight mid, no problem, which is, it's unlikely to be a Batrider mid. I mean, Dendi's gone on Bat before. He does okay. I wouldn't say that it's a Dendi hero necessarily. He could, because of how much it functions like a Magnus, you have to farm up.
10 seconds.
Solo kills can be dubious depending on who you're matched up against.
5 seconds remaining.
But Navi usually runs the jungling Batrider or the off lane 1v1
Reserve time.
sort of circumstance. Put him on Funnik. Have a grand old time with that. So getting rid of the DK, it's not to protect your lanes, it's to protect your mid and late game. Because you can beat DK in lane, and certainly with a Batrider in the game, it's possible. OD is definitely, I don't want to lose mid. That's just kind of how it is with OD.
Of the light.
Fnatic's turn to pick.
This looks like it'll be a Puppey Keeper of the Light. I don't know that I've actually seen Puppey play a lot of Keeper. Phantom Lancer is still in the pool, so that's a little bit cheesy. At least so it is considered at this point. It's not... cheese is not the right word. I want to say cliche or old hat. Overdone, maybe. Oh, the Nyx counter pick. Oh, man. This is the danger of picking a Keeper of the Light when there's still a support pick available on the other team. Keeper of the Light's going to be eating his own Illuminates all day. And it is the Phantom Lancer pick, so it's going to be the Coddle PL combo. A ruthless tri-lane from Navi. Likely going to be a Batrider solo, and they're still looking for their mid for Dendi. Puck is still in the pool. It would make them really squishy. In fact, that would make them... I mean, they would have very little HP until hvost gets his heart, which that's not going to be anytime soon. But there's not a lot of Dendi mid heroes that are particularly tanky either. He likes to live on the edge. He likes his Quap, his Shadow Fiend. So they're just going to be squishy regardless, which is, it's a good time for Nyx Assassin, as well as Visage. Those soul assumptions are going to be pretty brutal for kuroky and Puppey. And Nyx Assassin is not going to have too much trouble having a big impact in this game. Even just as a support, all he has to do is get one level of Spike Carapace and have a happy time walking into Illuminates and mana burning Puppey and kuroky, and that's all this Nyx Assassin has to do. Land a couple Impales. It's an easy solid support, and I think, I don't know, this is the trouble of banning out a Dragon Knight. If you're thinking about going for the Keeper of the Light,
5 seconds
maybe you should ban the Nyx Assassin. I don't know.
Reserve time.
trying to think of what other mid heroes are still in the pool. There's a Storm Spirit, but I don't know that that really fits into this lineup. For Navi, anyways. Fnatic can definitely go for it. It would give them a lot of mobility. It would make them so hard to kill. There would be no easy pickings, except for maybe Visage. But even he's got Gravekeeper's Cloak. But with a Storm, that would be pretty effective. They would like something to help deal with the Phantom Lancer, something that provides AoE.
10 seconds remaining.
Silence maybe to stop them from going into Juxtapose.
5 seconds remaining.
Then it'll be the Puck, which that's also
Navi's
something of a block pick.
turn to
I think Puck would have fit really well into Navi's lineup, and that kind of mobility would have worked out pretty nicely for Navi. But I like the Puck pick. They're not totally reliant on it. I think that's one drafting mistake that some teams make, is that they put all their cards onto the Puck deck, and Puck can't carry a game. Can snowball, it can happen, but you can't bet your hopes on a game for your Puck to snowball, because sometimes it just doesn't happen. Sometimes your Puck is just kind of in the game and waiting for Beastmaster. I don't know. If it's a funnik Beastmaster, that means it's going to be a dendi, unless they swap. They could swap. But yeah, you can't rely totally on your Puck, just because sometimes all you need is the silence and the Dream Coil, and the fact that it's hard to kill Puck. Which, as a part of a Tricore, that's enough. It's not completely on hanni to make this game happen. 2 out of 3 have to succeed, however, and Trixi will have a pretty hard time. Up against Coddle PL, there's nothing he can do. Yeah, nothing. They could run the aggressive tri-lane, and that may be in fact what they do, which is still a dangerous option. The more I look at it, the more that does what
5 seconds remaining.
does appear what it's going to be. Which, if that is the case, then I really like the Coddle pick, regardless of the Nyx Assassin, because of how strong it makes the defensive tri-lane for Navi. But
Prepare for battle.
we'll see. It's going to be an interesting matchup here. I do hope it's a try versus try, because it'll be pretty exciting. And I think it favors Navi because they've got the Coddle PL. And even this is a great tri lane, especially with the Visage. That's the X factor here for Fnatic. Good soul assumptions can really punish Puppey. I mean, he's got 430 HP. 2 soul assumptions and he's gone. But do I run through the lineups? Do I do what I do? Let's see what happens. Level 1 engagement here would probably favor Fnatic, because they've got the Visage. That soul assumption, you just can't. That's the most damage you can hope for at level 1. It's so good.
30 seconds.
Alright, no engagement, so I'll run through these lineups. Puppey is going to be on that Keeper of the Light. Haven't seen him on that in a while. hvost will be on the Phantom Lancer. Kuroky going to be on his most favorite Rubik. Funnik is going to be on that. Yes, they did swap. So Funnik is going to be on the Bat Rider, and Dendi is going to be on the Beastmaster. I groaned about this pick earlier. I will groan about it a bit more in a bit. Fnatic on the dire side this game. Oh, what am I missing? First blood. Puppey does not go down. It's hvost that goes down. Trixi picks up the kill there. The soul assumption is what helps makes that kill happen. Sorry about that. Great start to Fnatic's tri-lane. And getting the kill on hvost is a big deal. It's one thing if it's a support, but that's hvost going down, and he's off to a bad start. The only fortunate thing is he doesn't lose any gold, but that's a pretty minor bonus to have on the back of that. So, yeah, wish I could have seen what happened there. Sorry about that. hanni will be up on Puck over in mid. Era will be Lifestealer up at top versus Funnik. This is actually a bad start for Funnik, getting harassed out to pure right clicks by Era. Trixi's going to be on that Weaver. Notail on Nyx Assassin, and Fly on that Visage. So, assuming nothing more happens down here, I'm going to keep my eye on it. Sorry. I don't like Dendi Beastmaster. He'll do fine, no doubt about it. Particularly versus Puck. Puck will be able to get a lot of orb harass onto Dendi, but there's not a lot of auto attack damage that will be done. 5 armor at level 2. That's one of the reasons that Beastmaster makes a great mid. Tons of armor. Hard to harass out of the lane. As soon as he gets his bottle, which because he's gone for bottle rush, 3 branches and a set of tangos, he's got that at a minute and a half. So now that he's got that, he can start spamming axes, and that's basically what this lane is going to be. That's kind of a common sad story for mid recently. Is just that there's a lot of spamming of abilities back and forth because of Bottle Crow, and Dendi just keeping the courier right nearby. He's not hesitating to hog it all day. And so with the Bottle Crow, he's just going to spam the axes, and he'll have a perfectly fine time over in mid. Should favor Puck slightly, but it's not. It shouldn't turn either way until there's a rotation from one of these tri-lanes. And the rotation from Navi is pretty unlikely. They can send Kuroky middle, but if it's just Puppey and hvost, then that's a pretty exposed lane, and they can dive this. Fnatic is really in a better position to rotate. Trixi can get some farm on his own because he's Weaver, he's got the Shikuchi. So he's not completely reliant on having a stun to make sure that he doesn't die. And it can be either Visage or Nyx Assassin that stay with him. Notail would be the superior support to rotate. The only problem being that he just doesn't offer enough damage to take down a Beastmaster. The mana burn doesn't really hurt Beastmaster all that much. So Fly would really be the superior target to rotate, support to rotate towards middle if they want to achieve any kills, but they may not opt for that. Over in top lane, Funnik is actually having a hard time to start off versus Era. Especially given that he's almost out of mana, and if he doesn't have mana, then he's not going to be getting much done. Needs to be able to spam the napalm constantly, but one of the nice things about Lifestealer versus Batrider is he pops the rage, and man, I keep panicking thinking like, oh no, I'm missing an engagement. He can pop the rage, and in the duration of rage, no more stacks of napalm can be applied, and so it just removes them all. So if Funnik tries to go on Era, he's not going to get anything done, and Era's doing a really good job constantly harassing him out. Looks like a very, very tense bottom lane here. hvost is at 10-0 right now versus 18-7 on Trixi. So this tri-lane is going pretty well for Fnatic, and they've also got this pull warded. One of the disadvantages of running a defensive tri-lane on the Radiant side is that there's so many more places that you can ward this. Particularly compared to this camp on the Dire side. There's just nothing. Ooh, there's a lift onto Notail. He gets pulled back. He's already used the Spike Carapace, so he doesn't have any more damage. But the Sentry Ward gets dropped, so hvost, his Juxtapose is not going to save him here. One more right click, and he will not go down. Trixi even tries to dive, and oh, Notail has already gone down. So Trixi, he's going to make it out. He pops the salve. So a very risky engagement there for Navi. One more right click from hvost, and he would have gone down. But they just didn't have the damage. Notail ends up paying for it, but it took him a while to go down. Good timing there from Navi. They ate the first round of Spike Carapace charges, and then just lifted him up, pulled him back, and went for the kill. So that's going to give them a lot of breathing room down in this bottom lane. May encourage Notail to go rotate to another lane. However, he doesn't have any items whatsoever. He's just got a salve and tangos. No boots, so rotating takes a long time for him, and as mentioned before, he's not the greatest for trying to kill Beastmaster. Up in top, Funnik continues to be really low. He's having to go he's taking the walk of shame now. May opt to go check the rune. If he gets lucky, that could help him out quite a lot. Over in mid, Dendi's actually winning, much to my surprise. Not by a lot, but it's 40-4 on Dendi versus 34-3 on Hanni. So he's doing a pretty great job. Now that hvost has his Tranquil Boots up, Navi probably feels a little safer leaving him alone for a moment. They don't want to do it for too long because it's pretty easy for Fnatic to harass him. And they really need him to get his farm up. He's still lagging behind here. 18-1. Not enough for a safe lane carry. I think it's going to come down to the mids here for both Navi and Fnatic. Once one of Dendi or Hanni rotate, kills will start happening, but it's unlikely. It would take a misplay in this top lane for a kill to happen.
Keep the light.
And all these heroes are pretty hard to kill on Fnatic's side. Fly's positioning has been really good. He's been staying in the back. Notail, it's a little bit harder for Nyx Assassin because he's melee. Has to be more in the thick of things and wants to eat the Illuminates with the Spike Carapace. Oh, there's a lift onto Trixi. Do they have the Sentry Wards? Nope, just harassment. Nice Illuminate onto 2 from Puppey. They could make something happen off of this, but Trixi got the Shukuchi away. He's going to be okay.
Better it be
Up at top. There's a solo kill. Era picks off Funnik, so immediately contradicts me. Funnik's been having a hard time up in this top lane. Era is playing this extremely well, and I mean, Lifestealer is Era's strongest hero, so I'm not too shocked here. He's also probably played this matchup a number of times.
Radiant's middle tower is
But
under attack.
it's bad news for Navi. They're really looking to their solos here to rescue this tri-lane and get hvost the farm he
Radiant's top
needs.
tower is under
The longer
attack.
these supports are below 6, the worse things are going to be for Navi. Rubik has to get his spell steal as soon as possible. There's a rotation mid from Funnik. Hanni just uses the orb to go to the rune, so it's unfortunate timing for Funnik. He's not going to get there in time. And his farm is not too fantastic, especially after that def. Oh, there's a Dream Coil as well as the Impale. Funnik is going to go down.
Radiant's top tower
He gets a little bit greedy, tries to go for Hanni and find something. Rotation from Puppey and Kuroky, just not in time. So, good timing by Notail, being there at exactly the right moment. That's a sign of a good support, knowing exactly where you need to be at the exact moment. So, it's a good start for Navi.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Oh, there's a lift on the fly. Can they get this kill? Yes, they can. Look at all the damage he's taking. So he'll juke backwards, but
Rest now.
to no avail. That's a valuable kill for hvost, getting up his 1300 gold. I'll be very curious to see what hvost build this game is going to be. I suspect it's going to be drums first. It seems like everybody loves the drums at this point. It's just, if you're a carry, you're going to have drums. It seems to be the thing to do. Would really like to see the Diffusal. Diffusal's super strong versus Weaver. So mana dependent, particularly early on when time lapse costs a significant amount of mana. So if you can get him below 150 mana, then that's as good as having him stunned or silenced, which is definitely quite possible to do if you get a decent Diffusal Blade timing. Picks up the Bracer though. He's going to go for the drums first. Needs to get the stats up. Does not want to be super squishy and be going down to things like Soul Assumption and nothing else. Dendi is going straight for an Ags this game. He's got a point booster. It's an interesting choice. Would not be surprised to see him pick up a Blink Dagger in this game. There's 3 up at top for Fnatic. After that kill from hvost, I think this is the right decision. Perhaps could have done it a little bit sooner because there's no reason for Fly really to be down there. Trixi can get his farm on his own. Doesn't need a whole lot of help. So they've rotated up top, and we'll look to start pressuring this top tier 1. Funnik will have trouble challenging this. And a rotation around from Hanni. Can they find Funnik? Firefly's down for 11 seconds, so if Hanni finds him, he's going to be in big trouble. There's the Dream Coil, the Silence. There's no chance out for Funnik. And the Soul Assumption from Fly. Nice kill secure there, bro.
Radiant's top
But,
tower
there's a roar onto Notail middle. Is there going to be any follow-up? No, it doesn't look like it. So the roar's used, but to no avail. There's just not enough mana on Kuroky to get any more damage out. So kind of a wasted roar, and unfortunate. I think it was a little bit questionable to use it
under attack.
on Nyx Assassin anyways. It's always hard to go on him when he's got that Spike Carapace active, so a dubious use of Primal Roar, but not a big deal,
Is under attack.
at least for the moment. Kuroky has stolen Shukuchi! That's possibly the best spell he could ask for right now. It's going to allow him to get in position and make some great telekinesis happen. So we'll be looking for Kuroky to make some plays. And honestly, with that Shukuchi combined with Dendi, they could make something happen. They're just so low on mana right now. They really need to get their mana up. hvost has been left to free farm down in the bottom lane. Era has a slight advantage in last hits here. They're not too far apart, but I think it's a big deal for... Oh, there's an infest inside to notail. hvost, no chance out. Great rotation from Fnatic. Good use of the infest onto the vendetta of Nyx Assassin. It's hard to make use of the infest at early levels for ganking, but when you have a delivery mechanism like the vendetta, that's really effective. And hvost just gets caught off guard a little bit there. It was a very quick initiation though, and there's no way that he can have vision of notail, so it's not really his fault. I would say it's on Navi to start applying pressure at other points in the map. They need... Oh, there's a lift onto Era, but I mean, I don't understand the point of this. They're going on a fly in the back line, so they will take him down really fast. There's the lasso onto Era during the rage. Trixi has shown up. There's the Dream Coil onto 2. Funnik is dropping super low. The Illuminate onto 2. Nicely dodged by Hanni, but he will still go down to hvost. Or actually, Dendi picks up the last hit there with his boar, I think. But Kuroky with his Shukuchi, he's looking for more. This is a very even engagement here. Oh, the dust is popped. Kuroky gets too cocky here. Good use of dust. That's very, very smart play there from Notail. Knows that Shukuchi has been stolen and knows that they're going to need the dust to take down Kuroky. Now Dendi, he's teleporting out. There are no stuns available, so he's going to make it out okay. What the... I don't know what that... Something just flew across my screen, and I don't know what it was. It looked like a bird. I won't question it too much. That was an awkward engagement. I thought it might have been short-sighted for Navi to dive this far and just go in on the fly. Especially with the lift onto Era, I didn't really see a lot of reason for that. But I guess it was just to keep Era off of Dendi and Funnik while they went on to fly. And taking... I guess I shouldn't underestimate the value of taking Visage out early in these fights, because 150 mana on Soul Assumption, that means he pumps out 3 of them in a single fight. That's 1200 damage. I think it's about 400 for a max charge Soul Assumption. I guess it's only level 3, so it's not quite 400, but it's a metric fuck ton of damage. And if you kill him first, then you don't have to worry nearly as much, especially for these super squishy supports. And hvost too. I mean, he's only sitting at 800 HP even with these drums. So having Fly alive is not... It's almost disables Navi from being able to take these fights. And even with great positioning from him, he was all the way behind the tower. How can he expect a dive like that? The Ags is almost finished on Dendi, and I actually really like this choice by him. Getting a late Ags on Beastmaster is not necessarily the biggest deal. It lowers the cooldown, sure, and increases the cast range, but when that really matters is these early engagements, where you can still potentially find smaller skirmishes, solo pickoffs, and that's where the roar is really going to come in handy. So I think this is a really good decision by Dendi, and he's going to have it in just 100 gold here, so that's really good news for him. And I also think it works towards Dendi's style of play. He wants to be active, he wants to make kills happen as often as possible. And Ags will definitely work towards that. Would not be surprised to see a Blink Dagger come up next on him. Top tier 1 goes down. That's actually the first tower of the game. 15 minutes in. We can switch over to... Now that towers are going down, switch over to the net worth. Fnatic will teleport down to bottom. Can they make this defense in time? Notail pops the Vendetta, but the Sentry is popped. Funnik, he blinks in, he pulls Fly back. There's a bit of a misfocused fire here. Dendi pops the roar onto Era, but he will go down. hvost manages to take out Fly as well as Notail. Era gets lifted back, but he shouldn't stop him from going onto Puppey. And Open Wounds is actually stolen by Kuroky. It's going to be a man fight between hvost and Era. And Funnik is here, so this could be... Oh, nice deny by Era. This is going to make his presence a lot more worth it, but... It's all going to depend on the armlet toggles here. Yep, he's got it. So he's going to be okay. Oh, but the flame break! Oh, nope, not enough damage. 1 HP! Wow. Oh, and Kuroky goes down to the tower. Oh, what a weird engagement. I think it favors Fnatic. They get the tower deny, they get some kills on Era, but hvost picks up some kills of his own. I honestly can't even count
Dire's bottom tower
what
is
the
under
kills were in this fight. Oh, Trixi. He knows there's no mana for Doppelwalk, and he's going to get a free kill here on hvost. The teleports in are not going to be in time. The roar is just not off cooldown quite soon enough. That's unfortunate. Unfortunate for Navi, and that's a big solo kill. I mean, this is one of Fnatic's cores, and they just take down the one position for Navi. And you have to remember that this is their hopes are on hvost here. They don't have another carry or semi carry that can potentially help carry this game. It's all on hvost. So him going down is a pretty big deal. But yeah, this engagement was just so weird. I don't know how to analyze it really. It was. I think the biggest mistake that Navi made was just a lack of focus fire. Funnik diving deep, he got his blink dagger, wanted to make use of it. Ends up pulling Fly into the fight, but they didn't focus him down, so he got some soul assumptions off.
Dire's middle
Oh, there's an infest onto Notail. Opts not to use the Vendetta, but the infest is used, and hvost is not going to make it out. Finished off with a soul assumption for Fly. There's a dream coil onto Funnik. He's going to get picked off. Kuroky as well. Era, it's a 3-for-1 right now. This is really well played from Fnatic. They're just taking every fight that they can. And dendi not able to get the roar off underneath the tower. Look at the cast range on that. Finished off with the illuminate from puppey, long range from downtown. So at least Navi finds some trades here, and they might get the wards. Oh, hanni comes in from the side, finds puppey, wants to get this kill, and he should be able to. Does manage to finish off the familiar before he goes down, so he gets a trade for it, but that's a 4-for-1 in favor of Fnatic. A 4-for-2, sorry. But that's only supports going down to Fnatic. Notail and Fly. And Fnatic will make that trade all day, every day. No trouble. Dendi, poor Dendi, he had trouble. He wanted to roar Era underneath the tower, but the familiar chainstone from Fly made sure that he couldn't do that. I think this is over-aggression from Navi. Given that they're running, this isn't quite a 4-protect one, but it's not far from it because they have so many hopes on hvost. I think this might be another case of outdrafting. Navi are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. If they sit back and let hvost farm, they're letting the Tricore and Fnatic farm, and that's not acceptable. Phantom Lancer cannot outcarry. There is no carry in the game that can outcarry three carries. Even a Phantom Lancer with all the items in the world, he can do quite a lot of work, but it's not like Navi has the most amazing global presence here. So the split push from Phantom Lancer will be good. They've got the Keeper of the Light. That's part of the reason that Coddle PL is such a valued combo. Can recall him from across the map as Phantom Lancer hangs out in lanes, pushes them out far. But that's really the only outward pressure that Navi has for them. They don't have anything like a Nature's Prophet or Tinker or any sort of global presence that really helps them apply global pressure throughout the map. Looks to be a potential tower trade here. Fnatic is grouped up at bottom, Navi's grouped up at top, and it's unlikely that either team will challenge these towers.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I'd say, in my mind, I think losing towers is a bigger deal for Navi than it is for Fnatic. Because they've got this very mobile lineup, they have multiple mechanisms for delivering the Lifestealer Bomb. Weaver, Shikuchi, and of course Puck. They can be all over the place. They're not quite as reliant on those towers for positioning on the map. And additionally, since they're on the Dire side, Roche is going to become a factor pretty soon here. There's another infest on the Notail. They love this combo, and it's worked out really well for them so far, so I am not surprised. Navi wisely backing off before things get too hot. I like this ward placement from Navi, unlikely to be sentryed up, and gives good vision of the movement of Fnatic in their own jungle, and that's really where Navi needs to know where they are. One thing that Navi's really good at is warding. I guess you could say that's puppey, since he's the support that does most of the warding most frequently. But they know exactly where to ward for the specific context of a game. they don't just go for the usual suspects all the time. But we need to do an item check here. Actually, should check the gold graphs as well. It's about 1,500 in favor of Fnatic. 2,000 experience. Oh, there's initiation onto Puppey. Dodges the illusory orb. Will he be able to buy time for hvost to get some... make something happen here, but it doesn't look like it. So Visage picked up the kill there. Rather easy kill for Fnatic. They can just walk in and walk out. No trouble whatsoever. hvost just wants to farm. That's all he wants to do. He's not doing badly, but he's definitely falling behind. Oh, another deny from Era. This is 2 denies now from Fnatic, and Era is just always in the right place to make these happen. That's so much gold denied to Navi, which in this kind of 4 protect 1 sort of setup, I shouldn't call it that. It's not a 4 protect 1, but they're forced to play it that way. In this more 1 position reliant lineup, Navi really depends on that tower gold for their supports, because the supports are not getting farmed anywhere else. One of the things about Phantom Lancer is that he can farm most of the map by himself once he gets his illusions up, and he has gone for the defusal first. Wants to be as effective early on as possible, but that definitely increases his farming speed by quite a lot. But running through the items, with Staff of Wizardry up on Dendi, this is either a 4-staff or a Necrobook. I'm imagining a Necrobook because they need more ability to push, more effectiveness from Dendi himself, rather than just better positioning and trying to make things happen for the rest of his team. So I hope it's a Necrobook. Funnik, he's just about got his 4-staff, working on it anyways. Have that relatively soon. Arcane Boots up on Kuroky. Kuroky almost always builds Blink Dagger on Rubik, and that's a big X factor for Navi. Big steals from Rubik. If he can steal things like Dream Coil, Impale, that can really turn things around for Navi. They are a little weak on CC in this game. Not overwhelmingly slow, but it's not their strong suit, and depending on what he can steal, it can be pretty good. hvost is not quite strong enough to handle this ancient stack on his own. Both teams doing some stacking, because why the hell not? Actually, that's an infest stolen from Kuroky. I wonder if he'll make use of it. It's kind of hard to, as a Rubik. There's very few positions you'd actually want to put yourself in that infest will take you to, but Mechanism is still coming up on Puppey. It's a long ways off still. It's really important for him to get that up. I would like to see him doing more stacks in the jungle. That said, it is a dangerous place for him because there's a Nyx Assassin in this game, and it's, you can sentry up the entrance to the jungle, and that will allow you to do stacks, but if you get dewarded, then you've just wasted your money. It's a risky call for support. To have to balance between warding for farm or just saving up for that pretty necessary item. They really need a Mechanism. Mechanism's quite strong with Phantom Lancer as well, helping out his illusions quite a bit. Fnatic starts work on Roche, and Navi may be aware of this. Yeah, they've got the Hawk here, so they know this is going on. It's a hard fight for them to challenge, though, because they are a little bit behind, and the dire side advantage in this regard is pretty significant. Now, there's the smoke pocked by Navi. Firefly on Funnik. He needs to grab a high-value target here. And Roche does go down there too late. Era picks up the Aegis. This could be bad for Navi, but there's an Illuminate onto 4. That's huge. Kuroky goes down immediately, however, as does hanni. hvost, he gets taken out by the Infest from Era, and it's not looking good for Navi in this fight. Although hvost is doing a lot of work. That Illuminate from Puppey was almost a game changer. That landed on 4. Was so close to being a big deal, and this will be another kill. Another kill for Trixi. Very unfortunate. Navi showed up about 5 seconds too late. If they had shown up just a little bit earlier, they would have stopped the Roche from being finished, and I don't think things would have gone that way. It would have tied up Fnatic's focus quite a bit. They would have been forced to focus on the Roche rather than try and take the fight. And they would have been able to deal a lot more damage with, especially that Illuminate. Oh man, that was so close to changing the game. But after that fight, Fnatic are feeling really good. They're going to be close to 4,000 gold, almost 7,500 experience in their favor. And it's dark times for Navi. Things are starting to look a little bleak. They're losing room on the map to farm. Fnatic, at some point in the near future, will be able to group up and take out this mid-tier 1, which will be a pretty important tower to remove. But, looking at the items on Fnatic, hanni's got his ultimate orb, so he's going straight for Scythe of Vice. That'll be quite useful in this game. As it always is, there's never a game where Scythe of Vice is bad. It's hard to say anything about Scythe of Vice when over and over again you've talked about how great of an item it is. It's just really good. Era's got his SMY up, so he's going for that basher. Next, and once he has that, it's gonna be trouble for hvost. Hvost is still not very tanky and very susceptible to the chain bashing of the basher. Oh god. Wow, Kuroky just gets melted by the blink infest from hanni and Era. No chance whatsoever. Wow, Fnatic is looking great. Like, this is really good. Though again, I really think this is the case of not great drafting from Navi. That said, I mean, Navi have pulled off, I mean, they did about this badly in the group stages of TI2, so by no means is all hope lost, but they're not, these drafts are not the same as they were in Alienware Cup. Like, they're clearly trying, but maybe they just haven't found their stride yet. Maybe the delay they had in Amsterdam slowed them down. A whole bunch of players got stuck in Amsterdam on their way to the International. They got stuck there for about a full day, which it's actually a big deal for players that are traveling across the world. It means they have less time to adjust to the jet lag. Mechanism finally finished on Puppey, so that could have been a game changer in that previous fight. The vitality booster on hvost, so he's going for that hard Trask, which he really needs. It's a necessity for him. I mean, honestly, he needs to be 6-slotted. He can't have anything less than that if he wants to challenge Fnatic.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Fly has his medallion. He's got 1,000 gold. I imagine he's just going to go for an Aghanim's because that's what everybody does. It is a great item. Helps with the pushing power. More chain stun. Lots of juicy things. Forstaff finished on funnik, so he's got a somewhat better initiation going now. Fnatic have spent a lot of time grouped up, so they need to make sure that this kill counts. And if they can get hvost, it could be a pretty big deal. Oh, there's the blink in, the infest, the silence. There's no chance for him to juxtapose. Soul Assumption immediately used. hvost gets taken out, no trouble. Oh no, and Puppey's gonna go down too. It's the bonus prize for taking down hvost. They get the Keeper of the Light, no problem. And they'll get the bottom tier 2. Navi, they're hovering around here, but I don't think that they can risk this. Dendi's getting chain stunned up. The Impale. Oh no, Dendi. He's going to end up feeding a kill here. Oh, double force staff. Wow. Uses the roar, and notail does actually go down, so at least there's a trade there. Impale is stolen by Kuroky. That's a huge steal. Impale is one of the best spells that you can steal as Rubik because you have no cast animation. Makes it really easy to land. Although he steps out too far. 3-shotted from Era. Era is too beastly right now, and Fnatic can probably just roll into the base at this point. Bad positioning from Navi. Puppey, not really his fault that he went down. He was staying in the back, supporting hvost in the event of someone arriving, but hvost went down way too fast. But why would Navi try and hover around? Like, they could be fighting as a team right now. There's no reason for Dendi and Kuroky to be dead right now. But because they are, they may lose these racks. It's gonna be close. Oh, there's the lasso onto Era, but he still has that Aegis, so he's really, it's not that big of a deal. Fly, he will go down to hvost in the back lines. Era resurrects from the Aegis, and they can probably just continue on the racks, or they can just go for hvost. His juxtapose is not, or his double walk is not off cooldown for 1 second, so he will make it out. A-okay. Era. Oh, he steals the Shikuchi Kuroky, so he will make it out, but Fnatic, they're free to take the racks. It's 13-26 at 30 minutes into this game, and look, wow, look at that. That's a giant careen downwards in favor of Fnatic. So Fnatic, I think this is where it gets really hard for Navi.
has fallen.
A comeback is a dubious prospect at best. They have the Phantom Lancer, so it's possible. He's really good at pushing out lanes,
Tower is under attack.
but not when he's this underfarmed. This is really the problem. If
Radiant's
you
middle tower has
If you
fallen.
lose a Rax at like 35 to 40 minutes and you have a heart, that's the difference maker for hvost in this game. He is actually pretty close to his heart, so it might not be quite as big a deal, but you have to have the heart so that your illusions can tank creeps and be able to spawn more juxtaposed illusions. You have to have that. So if you lose a Rax and you don't have that, your ability to push out lanes is actually pretty poor. But he'll have that relatively soon. He's got the Reaver on the Courier, so that's not too far off. The game plan here for Navi is for Fnatic to make a mistake, really. I don't think that Fnatic can lose this game if they play it right. It is Fnatic, and they're not a throwy team, but they've had a couple questionable losses where they really didn't have to lose. Might have been winning beforehand. Might have been a 96-minute game. Good examples. But they're looking really good here. I mean, this is the best I think I've seen Fnatic play in quite a long time. So I would be shocked if they do that at this point. They may just wait for the next Roche. They're not under a lot of pressure to push in just yet. I mean, it's going to be up in 2 minutes. And another Aegis up on Era will really do a lot of work. He's got that Abyssal Blade, by the way, so he's got all the bash in the world. It is a 4-staff on Dendi. I don't know. I don't see what it offers them. Oh, there's a blink in from Notail because he's got that. Look at all this AoE that's going down. There's just no chance for Navi. Look at them all melt. The lasso by Funnik is going to do absolutely nothing. Except buy time. The Shikuchi, or sorry, the Ghost Scepter by Dendi was not going to save him. hvost goes down. It's a 4 for none. Look at Fnatic. Not a single one of them below half HP, and it's going to be the 4-staff away. He'll make it away. Great initiation from Fnatic. That blink from Notail was perfect. Nothing else to say about it. It was just perfect execution, and they took advantage of Navi being grouped up. They just got sloppy. And I don't think there's a lot of reason for that. There was a pretty interesting interview with hvost recently that he talks about how frustrating it is being #1. Because if you're the underdog, then nobody has any expectations of you. But if you're #1, then everybody comes to these events, and all they're looking to do is to beat you.
Dire's top
That's
tower
everybody's
has been
main objective. And what did he say? I'm trying to remember the exact quote. It was translated from Russian, so there were some interesting translation errors. But point being, Fnatic are clearly they have Navi's number, and they're playing Navi's. This isn't Navi style. This is Fnatic style. But they're playing in such a way that Navi can't do what they normally do. They're not getting any pickoffs. They spent a lot of time grouped up this game, which normally that's really costly. They should be further behind on experience and gold than they are because of how much time they spent roaming as a unit. But because they've been able to do that, or because they've been doing that, they found a lot of pickoffs. They've killed hvost a number of times. And here begins the Roche. I think Navi has to challenge this, but can they get there in time? I mean, Era is so fat. Oh, it's all going to depend on a great lasso. They're here in time. Fnatic, they back out of the Roche pit. There's the lasso onto Era. Or, what the? hvost, he's actually in the center of everything. His positioning, what is it? Why is he in the middle of everything? Navi calls the GG after 3 immediately go down. I don't know what hvost's positioning was there. That was super questionable, being right in the center of everything.
Fnatic victory.
So, wow. I would say Navi gets outplayed and outdrafted in this game. I don't like the Beastmaster pick on Dendi. I don't think that was the major weakness. of this lineup, I think the biggest failure for Navi was top lane. Funnik getting absolutely nothing. Not absolutely nothing, but dying in that lane, feeding a kill solo to Lifestealer. Look at Era, he's 12-0 and 11. Jesus. And Trixi's 7-1 and 11. The cores on Fnatic did fantastic this game. But feeding a solo kill to Lifestealer is not an option when you are Batrider. You are supposed to win your lane or at least come very close to even. That's how 1v1s as Batrider are supposed to operate. And as a Lifestealer, I don't know. If it were a Gyrocopter, I would be a little more understanding because Gyrocopter versus Bat is a really hard matchup. It can be very difficult for both sides of the equation. But Funnik fell behind on farm, missed some experience. He definitely fell behind on experience because Era got a lot of denies off, which also shouldn't be happening. And his presence in the game was just, we didn't see any high impact lassos. There just wasn't a lot going on to help bring Navi back into this game. The bottom lane was, the try versus try situation was very close, very even. Giving up the first blood was a pretty big deal, but Navi came back pretty well from it. They found some kills. They got the kill on Notail. They got a kill on Fly. So they were getting something out of that lane, and it wasn't all that bad. Mid was a wash. So it was really down to Funnik rotating from his lane and making good lassos happen. And his first rotation was feeding a kill to Hanni on Puck. He rotated middle, and then Notail was just, he happened to come mid for a gank, and oh look, there's a Funnik on our side of the river trying to chase down Puck. It's not going to happen. And Funnik ends up feeding a kill. So a rare performance from Funnik where he doesn't really live up. And it's kind of weird to say, I don't think the Rubik pick paid off. Kuroky was just food all game. He got no good steals off. There were really not a lot of high impact plays from him, but I don't think that's necessarily his fault, so I don't really want to focus on that too much. Keeper of the Light, Puppey had some great illuminates, so I think he pulled his weight. And hvost did what he could on Phantom Lancer. I don't think he had any major misplays this game.